it's important for me to get those updates, those apps, because I can take really action on those things. I know I have 10 emails, I'm obviously going to get to it at some point in time during the day. But I know really that these are the things that really matter to me, and I can get to it really fast. And we just take it to another level by introducing the Action Center. And so now you have all these grouped across first-party and third-party applications available on your phone right there, and I can take action on it. So for instance, I had this missed call, which is the call that happened right at the beginning, and I don't know what the number is, and I don't want to get back to that. Most likely some sort of a spam call, and I just dismissed it by just swiping to the right, and I don't need to get to it at all. But there are obviously a bunch of things that I might want to get to it. Some of you pinging me on Twitter, so I'll get to it when maybe after this session. And then on top, I have these 4 action buttons that I decided are important to me, but I can obviously change that, and I can go into the Notifications and Action Center and change this. And so if I don't need flight mode, if I travel very frequently, then I need flight mode. I maybe use internet sharing frequently, and I can just switch to that and decide what action buttons make sense for me. And we also further personalize it, because now I have full control on all the third-party and the first-party applications that you saw in the notifications there, to really decide how my notifications would look like and feel like when they come in. So for instance, if I go to Facebook, I have an option of saying, hey, I want a notification banner when I get a notification on Facebook, and I want a particular kind of a sound, so I can customize that, and I can do it for each of these notifications that come on the Action Center, and so it gives me full control on my experience on my Windows Phone start screen. We take another step on the start screen, and this is really fascinating in the way we've been able to do this across now all devices. And so when the Lumia 1520 and the 1320 came to market, they were the largest screen, phablet sort of experiences, 6 inches. And we took a little different approach from a design paradigm point of view, from a UX point of view. And we said, like, hey, it's not enough to just scale the UX to fit a 6-inch form factor. You sort of need additional space. And so why not have an additional column that allows you to pin way more apps and way more things that really matter to you right on your start screen itself. And it gives you more real estate for a lot of us who sort of a little more geeky, want lots of apps and lots of things. It really is fun because you can get to almost everything on your start screen without having to go anywhere else. And so what if we just got this to literally every single Windows phone out there, including the Lumia 520, 525, right from the lowest price points right to the flagship devices. And so actually I just have to toggle and decide whether I get a 2-column view or a 3-column view. I just love the 3-column view. It doesn't matter if my device is not 6 inches or what, but I get a lot of apps and services right on my start screen. So it's an amazing experience in just being able to do this across different points. So if you really recall, we believe when we do innovation on the Windows Phone platform, it should be right from the lowest end of the devices, the more affordable devices, to flagship devices, because we want a consistent experience for that across all the range of Windows Phone devices. 1 second. Yeah, so my PC goes to sleep every 10 minutes to save battery. And so the other experience that I think is just amazing is the ability for me to sort of personalize the start screen more. We got feedback from people. Hey, the start screen is fine, I can organize my tiles, I can put all the apps, but I've got to put stuff which is very personal to me, like my pictures, my kids, my family, my friends. How do I get that? So we got this new thing called, you can just put a background. So let me give you an example. So there is a selection of backgrounds that you will get with every device. And manufacturers can also customize this and add more background. So let me just pick this image. This looks beautiful, nice green. And when I go to the start screen, the image actually goes to the background and the whole UI becomes transparent and floats on top of the image. And what it does is, very interestingly, it doesn't hamper reading, because some of those apps that need to be opaque for them to display information still stay that way, and I'm able to still get that see-through effect of this whole thing. Let me do this again with another image. So this is a bunch of, this is one of the kind of jobs that you can aspire to get. So this is a bunch of people who run a community called XBHP. They just ride and they're just traveling all over the world, and they're taking pictures of the Lumia 1520. In this instance, this is Italy, somewhere in Italy right now. And they take these pictures and they use the Lumia 1520, post it on Facebook. And so they're sharing these images. There are a bunch of people on bikes. For all the uninitiated, this is a biking community. As I'm led to believe, because I don't really ride a bike. So I can take this and I can basically put this and overlay this, and I obviously can put a personal image of my son or my family or my wife, and personalize it even further than just the apps and services sort of that do this. So a set of things that allow you to build this experience or get this experience of live tiles, take it to another level, the action center and the enhancements on the start screen. Really is a very useful way to sort of make this more personal than what it already was. Another thing that we got feedback on was the calendar experience on the phone. So it's kind of painful on current set of devices where you have to sort of flip from one view to the other to see what's really happening on the next day, what's happening through the course of the day. Now it's very simple. I'm set on a day view. I can flick across. I can see what's happening tomorrow. I can see what's happening Saturday. Color coded, and what it is normally different services sending in birthday. So this is coming from my Outlook.com, some stuff coming from Facebook, and some coming from my Exchange or Office 365 service that I use within the company for my professional mail. And I can switch to a week view. So that's pretty nifty because I can actually see, okay, what's Saturday going to look like, what's different days going to look like, and I can also switch to a month or a year view and get the same experience. And it's fairly easy to jump across. I think this is very simple. I think a phenomenal enhancement to sort of really getting to stuff that really matters to you and being able to manage your schedule and calendar very easily. As all of you are aware, Skype's an amazing experience across a set of devices, not just Windows, but across all ecosystems. But since we, sort of Skype is part of our company, so how do we really bring that experience to a different level as far as a Windows device is concerned? So we got something interesting that we did with Skype. I'm going to now go on a limb. I'm going to do this. It's obviously all dependent on the network, and we can always blame the network for if it doesn't work. I'm going to call a colleague of mine at work, and this is just a regular phone call. And if you notice, there's a button in the middle of the dialer which says Skype. So a lot of times I travel abroad, and Anurag,
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah. So let's. You want to do a Skype call right now so people can get to see the new office?
Of course, you can do that.
Yeah. So I'm going to put you on a Skype video call. So I just press the Skype button, and the call stays connected for as long as it can, and drops off the network, and then basically initiates a video call. And I basically say video, and it automatically initiates a video call using Skype from my device to Anurag's device, and it could go to either his PC or his phone depending on wherever he is, because obviously he's signed into Skype in all of those services. And this is where the network sort of comes into play, and so if we get through, you essentially are able to translate. So I use this really very effectively when I travel abroad. Data plans are fairly expensive. It's very prohibitively expensive to make voice calls from the US to India. So you can actually use Skype, and you can just simply switch from a voice call to a Skype call and move to your data consumption, data plan versus using your voice plan. I think it's going to take a while. We intended to show you, use the camera to show you the new office, but you're welcome to come to Gurgaon and see our new office. It's a pretty fun place, and I think I'll just leave it at that. I think this is not going to go through. So a pretty simple way to really get to Skype and bring this innovation in a very unique way that you will not find on other platforms, even though Skype does run as a service. And we love people who use Skype no matter what device they are on. Next is the kind of experiences that we've been doing with our App Store. So developers have been giving us great feedback on the kind of work that we've been doing with them, both at a local and a global level, in terms of being able to get experiences that get their apps to be discoverable on our store. Just give me a second. So you're able to find all these applications in a fairly simple way. We've got a new experience on the store, new layout that allows you to be able to get to all the applications. So just a second, I think this is on the Wi-Fi. Oh, okay. Awesome. Right. Just a second. So yeah. So I've got all these featured apps that our merchandisers put up. And what's interesting about this is that no matter how the merchandiser is putting these apps if I've got some apps installed on my phone or I bought them earlier, the featured list will not show them. So it'll only show me new apps. So it gets the developer to be able to increase discoverability of their apps phenomenally. And when I click on this, I get a lot of there's a new layout to show me all the details of the app and be able to show me all the screenshots right on the first pane itself. And I click across, I see a lot more detail of what the reviews look like, so that I can make a decision whether I want to buy this game or not. And then when I pan further, I also get these recommendations that come from my usage of the kind of apps and games that I use, as well as recommendations from my Facebook and other social feeds. And if I say, hey, I really don't need Gmail, I say not interested, it automatically gives me another recommendation using an algorithm in the back end to be able to replace that with a new recommendation. So a great way for developers to drive discoverability of their apps, and we take it to another level. So if you recall, we built this whole native social experience on Windows Phone 8 with Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and we kind of talked about it a lot, and we got a lot of feedback, a lot of love for that. And we just now decided to take it to yet another level. Why should it only be those three? I want to use WhatsApp. I want to use WeChat. I want to use something else. There are so many social media services out there and everyone has their own preferences. So what we've done is now taken the same set of APIs and made them open. So we've now got social extensibility on apps that allows any app developer who wants to make extensions to our first-party services, for example, the People Hub, to be able to drive those extensions into that experience. So like example, if I go to my colleague Shabla can wait, so she's there, and if I have this post here from her, and I click on it, now it takes me straight to the Facebook app. And I get full functionality of all the things that happen on the Facebook app versus a limited set of functionality that happen with the native experience. And what you can actually see is that you will see a bunch of apps that you get built for Windows Phone 8.1 that have social extensibility features that the developer has chosen to leverage and allows you to sort of do native experiences of things like WhatsApp, etc. and all. But at the same time, full functionality because it opens up in the app that's available on the store. And this is phenomenal from a developer point of view to be able to drive engagement with the users and to be able to really bring this almost like close to a native experience, but still you have a huge full control in terms of the functionality as well as the kind of social connect services that you can have on your particular device. Next, the other thing, let me talk about a feature that I just really love. It's just amazing. Since I've been using my Windows Phone 8.1 for my phone, which runs Windows Phone 8.1 for about the last couple of months, it's hard for me to imagine how I could have done this without this one. And this is feedback we heard, and this is just phenomenal. And what's really great about this is that we've taken the existing workflow predictive typing experience and added shape writing to it. And this is pretty interesting because it is fairly intuitive. And the workflow was anyways great. It just becomes even better. And it integrates with your contact list, and that's kind of amazing because now it takes proper nouns. So that's Charlene, my colleague, and the moment I type his name, his surname appears just after that because it's pulling it from the contact list. So no matter how hard that name is, how Indian sounding that name is, it works. And it works 10 out of 10. And this is just blazing fast, and records this works out to almost beat the Galaxy S4 by 8 seconds. And it's phenomenal. You can see that on YouTube. You got a Guinness record for this. So it's just amazing in terms of the typing experience. And you can have a lot of fun with this. So let me just try this out. And I'll type a sentence. So I feel like having butter. So it says butter, then it says chicken. I could say milk. And it also gives me an emoticon for the chicken. And for lunch today. And so it's pretty cool. You can, and if you switch to the Hindi Latin keyboard, you can even do Hindi stuff. So if I say Dilwale, Dulhania, Le, and it's just phenomenal. I mean, you can keep playing with this, and it's just incredible in the terms of the kind of speed that you get with this. And the beauty of this is you don't have to pay for this. So it's not like what our competition does, saying, hey, you get it on the flagship device, but all the other ones you need to pay for it through a third-party app. You get this on every single device that runs Windows Phone 8.1, which is pretty much every device that runs Windows Phone 8. So even at the lowest price points, we're going to get these innovations down to every single Windows Phone 8 device out there. Let's move to, some of you might be familiar with this, we kind of spoke about it last time, is the whole Senses suite on the Windows Phone. So we've got 4 sort of things that allow you to get more control of your data plan, control of your Wi-Fi, the way you connect to different things, and how you optimize for certain resources on your phone. So let me go one by one. So I'll first talk about DataSense. So DataSense is an amazing, it's just, at the face of it, it just looks like an app. We've got compression built into this, which allows you to compress as high as about 60% on your browsing that you do on your phone. And so this is phenomenal. You know, users in India, no matter how expensive a device they'll buy, and one of those favorite ads is the Maruti ad that, you know, whatever you buy and you really want to make sure that the mileage on that is still, doesn't matter to buy a Merc, but the mileage is more important. And so kind of same way the phone works. I mean, they're very concerned about how much money they'll spend on their data plan. Voice is kind of cheap, but data is still expensive. So I can actually set up, I can set it for automatic, but I've set it for high, where the compression is very heavy, so you can read the text, heavy compressed files, block some ads, etc. So it saves me, get me a lot more juice out of my data plan. And what it does is shows me all the details about how my data is being used. And because we have sync your settings and stuff across Windows, which we'll talk about a little later, I'm being able to offload across to my Wi-Fi networks across my home or office and be able to really know how much data is being consumed on my data plan, on across what apps, and then how much I'm consuming out of my Wi-Fi networks. Because and really it helps me optimize. I've set the limit. It resets at the same time that my bill comes every 3rd of the month, and I have full control on how my data gets consumed. And so when those guys call you to sell you an additional plan, you really know that how much you really need. Okay, so let's go to the battery saver. I've been using the Lumia 1520 before I was using this build for a while, and it is a workhorse as far as the battery is concerned. It lasts me for about a couple of days, but battery is like one thing you don't have enough of ever. And so when you get off the plane, you want to make that last call, your phone's running out of juice, you really need that last bit of thing to make that call and get into that meeting if you need to. So we've got a battery saver that's got enhancements now that enhances your battery by over 20%, in some cases to over 24 hours, and then your battery level reaches 20%. So it will automatically keep clicking if you've selected that. But what's more phenomenal is that we get you full control on what services that need to come through irrespective when you want to save your battery. So for instance, we do a lot of link calls at work. So I need to be on a link call, doesn't matter in the morning, on catching a flight. So I have set the settings on link to let it run in the background even when battery saver is on. So I can do that. Maybe Facebook's important to you, maybe something else important to you. So you have full control as a user to be able to do these things and still get the maximum juice out of your battery, so that you can do that last one call or whatever that matters to you. And the next sense is the storage sense. So this is now a native experience. This was an app built by Nokia. Now it's a native experience, and you have full ability to move your data between your phone and your SD card if your phone has an SD card. So this one doesn't, so I can't show this to you, but if you are on the Lumia 520 at the back, you can see this. And you can actually not just move your apps to the SD card, but also run the apps off the SD card. So this is phenomenal for affordable devices where your onboard memory is low, you want to put an SD card, and you have far more manageability of how you want to manage your resources and audio files on your phone than otherwise. So this is, and also you can take action. You can see stuff that you're using and take, spring clean your phone because it's got a bunch of apps that you don't use anymore, and you want to put new ones or new games that take a little more space. And lastly, amongst the senses, I'll talk about this thing called Wi-Fi sense. I think it's pretty cool. It's an ability for you. So one of the factors obviously finds Wi-Fi hotspots, which is kind of a little too premature for a market like ours where Wi-Fi connectivity is not really that great. But what it does interestingly outside of that is just amazing, which is I can actually let my friends connect to Wi-Fi spots that I have been on. And it does it in a very seamless way that you will not get credentials or access to credentials. The friends won't get access to that, or if they're sharing, you won't get access to it. But they will still be able to get to your network. And I explain how this works. So I've selected, if you see here, my Skype contacts to get access to my Wi-Fi networks. So what I do is, I just go manage, and you see a bunch of Wi-Fi networks, including the one with Oberoi. But Oberoi has put a policy there saying you can't share. So I can't actually share that network. Similarly, I can't share my office network because my office ID policy doesn't allow me to share. It needs authentication, needs my single sign-on. But my home network I can share. So when I click on my home network, I said share it with all my Skype contacts, because most of them usually turn out to be friends who work with me on Skype. And so when they come to my house, even though it's a secure network, if they're using Wi-Fi sense on their Windows phone, they do not need my password and they don't need anything from me. But they will still not able to get access to my credentials, so it's not like they can get the password and they can give it to somebody else. So it's amazing in the way you can actually optimize sharing your networks, and a beautiful experience if you've got Wi-Fi sense running on different Windows Phone devices. Comes across to all Windows Phone users. So let me take a little bit of a break. So you saw all the features that sort of make a Windows Phone, every Windows Phone uniquely yours, and a lot of enhancements to take that to another level. Let's talk next about what we've done with the whole Windows family of devices. And we made one second. I need to enter this goes to. Just give me a second. So I go to my phone and I do a bunch of tasks on my phone. The next minute I need to be on my work PC and maybe a tablet, and in some cases even competing devices as well when I want to accomplish certain tasks on, let's say, Office. How do I make sure that I shouldn't as a user be bothered about what my experiences will be across these devices, my files, my settings, and preferences should move seamlessly across. So let's give this a shot. So I feel like having a blue theme today, wearing a blue jacket, and let's just give it a demo watch need to favor me today, and give it a few seconds, and you'll see that experience coming to life on my Windows PC and my home PC that runs the same account. This was working fine. It should work fine. So we'll wait for it and we'll go ahead and see whether this works and change this color. So it usually takes about 10 seconds for this to come across a multiple set of devices. So another area for synchronizing your settings is what we've done with Internet Explorer. So I've got Internet Explorer running on this, and I've got all the tabs that were open on my phone. And then when I swipe across, these are all the tabs so that's turned blue. So you see that. It takes about 10 seconds. The network is always the one to blame. So what's really happened here is that all of these, if you see there are two devices here. This is my home, this is my work PC, which is a Lenovo Carbon running Windows 8. And then this is my home PC, which is a Helix Lenovo. I seem to love Lenovo. And I've got a bunch of these sites that are open on it, and this was the last time I must have worked, and I was browsing. So for instance, like I was on Amazon and buying something or trying to look at something that I was buying, like a book, and it opens up right from the point where I started off my phone. This is the same experience you get on your Windows 8 PC, including the tabs that are open on your phone as well will be visible there as well. So you can really resume, start, do whatever you want to, irrespective of which device you're on. And then, so the other thing that you'll be able to see is your favorites. So these are the same set of favorites that are there, and you can actually see that list there on my work PC and also on my home PC, the same set of favorites that are there. So let me also take this a little further. So I'm a big Amir Khan fan, and I read this article a while back. You can search it on the web about how he revolutionized the film industry by these couple of films that he did in the earlier part of the last decade, which is Lagan and Dil Chahta Hai, a beautifully written article by one of the critics. And when I click on this, the article obviously comes through, and it's kind of hard to read this on a phone. I mean, you've got to pinch and zoom, and that's fun to do, it's okay, but it's kind of hard to read, especially, I need progressives, it's hard for me. So, all I did was just tap that icon, and I got this beautiful reading view on the phone. It's just phenomenal. I can read it easily. I can set the font for this, and it inlays all the pictures also that work in the articles. For all of you who write articles or are writing blogs, this is just phenomenal for someone to really consume that content in a very interesting and a simple way. So really bring these innovations to Internet Explorer. Same Internet Explorer that runs on the PC, runs on the phone, and has all of these services that are enabled across this. So now it's fine to say, hey, you've got Windows, and so not everybody in the world is just going to use Windows devices. We want them to. We know this is a world of hybrid devices, and people use different kinds of devices, and they might have a Windows phone, have an iPad, like I do. And so I have this iPad, which is basically running the recently released Office for iPad. And what I'll do is I'll just switch on PowerPoint. And you see here, there are two services running on top. All those files are there. There's OneDrive for consumer and OneDrive for business. And all my files, both my personal and professional files, run off that cloud storage. I don't have actually a single document that I store physically on any of my devices. And I have the same native experience now available already on the Windows Phone, which is available already, which is the ability for me to be able to go to same OneDrive experience on my phone, and same. Every single device, every single experience out there that runs this will be able to get access to all your documents and services, irrespective of whether you're running a Windows device or not. You still have access. So we truly believe in this whole mobile first, cloud first vision, and we're bringing services that you really love to devices that you don't that you love, irrespective whether it's a Windows device or not. And we do great amount of innovation on Windows devices so that you love to buy those devices as well. The last feature that I have to talk about from a sort of bringing these whole Windows experiences together is this capability that I'm using to project my phone on the screen. It's a consumer functionality now with Windows Phone 8.1. You go to settings or project your screen, and you just need to download a USB client which you put on a Windows PC, and you can project your phone onto using your PC on the screen. We don't stop at that. We also have Miracast support for you to be able to mirror your image of the phone onto a display using Wi-Fi Direct through a Miracast dongle, which usually costs somewhere in the region of $3,500 rupees. And so fairly simple way, without using a projector, you can use Miracast to basically beam your phone onto a device. You can actually see that at the back, though that's being used through a PC. But if someone who wants to see a Miracast device, I have a dongle with me, I can show that to you. It's fairly inexpensive, very cool way, especially for small businesses. You don't need a projector in a room, you can actually use a Miracast device and use a phone and pretty much. And by the way, Windows PCs with 8.1 support Miracast. So you can actually also do this with your Windows PC as well, not just your Windows Phone. The other thing that's really happening as a big trend is this whole boundary between what you do in work and what you do on your personal time almost disappearing. At one point I do a task to do a Facebook update, the next point I need to send a file from my OneDrive for business to a colleague. A lot of collaboration that you do across different time zones. You want access to everything at your whim and fancy, any device, any place, any time. And the complexity is killing for IT professionals inside organizations. They fret and fume, they kind of have to make this trade-off. Do I really make you productive, or do I really make you unproductive, because my policies sort of don't allow this. And we already had great features with Windows Phone. Windows Phone 8, and we've just taken them to another level, and this is truly a device which is ready for the modern workplace. So let me just show you the simple functionality. I have my Action Center, I've got VPN already on the action button. I can also go to settings, and I've got VPN here, and I just need to connect on it. It just takes a little while to get connected, and I can get access to all my intranet websites using my VPN, my Microsoft VPN. And so literally speaking, if I have a large screen device or one of the devices like this, I pretty much don't need to use anything else. I can pretty much do everything that I need to do on this device. So for instance, if I go to this, we use this very often, most Microsofties would know this, which is basically a MS expense tool where you file your expenses. It's an intranet site. It's very, very painful when it comes to doing this on time. And so, and it's one of those things that a lot of us sort of, get dinged on because we don't file our expenses online. Now it's pretty cool. Everyone can do this. All access to all internet websites right on your phone. Don't need to even get onto a PC and you've got VPN access. And we've got now support for enhanced MDM capabilities, support a multitude of partners, including Windows Intune, which is our own AirWatch, SOTI, and SAP Afaria, and we also got S-Point support for encrypted emails, remote device wipe, which is selected. We take a different approach. So if you leave the company, anything that is associated with your domain or your company credentials will get wiped off from the device, including a file that you used your domain to send to somebody or to your personal mail as well. That will get wiped out, but your personal data will remain. And so phenomenal in terms of the way this device is ready for the modern workplace. And all existing devices have the same set of capabilities when they get the upgrade as well.